to see something? Now you see now, you done fucked up, you know that, don't you?
I
See what I'm saying?
I thought.
No, so, you know what I'm saying? You done fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
What's going on? We're going to be talking about today a guy that basically a lot of people are trending talking about this guy. Um, a lot of people don't know the early founders of Apple. Most people know Steve Jobs. Maybe you might know Steve Wozniak, or actually, it was basically Steve Jobs and yes, Steve, basically Steve and Steve. You know, you probably know Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs, of course. But what you don't know is Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak at the time. You know, you don't remember, they were broke college kids. Okay, they had an idea. They had some hardware that they believe was going to be like revolutionary, just like anybody else. Every startup guy, he thinks or she thinks that they got the next thing that's just going to change the whole world. And the market is the determining factor in that, where the market will determine if your idea is going to change the world or not. Not your own thoughts. It's like, your kid, right? You love your kid. You putting all your money into your kid, but people don't love your kid. People don't give a shit about your kid, man. They probably, doing all kind of disrespectful stuff to your child every day. If you probably put a camera on your child and sent them to school, you'll be surprised as far as what your child has to deal with and endure from not only young children and also adults. And it's like, yeah, that's your startup. Like, everybody's startup is their child that nobody gives a shit about until basically the product takes off, or service takes off, or whatever the case may be. It's just startup talk. But this also is investment talk, because basically that's what this guy was. Ronald Wayne was he was an investor. He basically invested into these young guys that were obviously broke. They had a good idea and something revolutionary, which was the Apple computer. He had some money. He put up his capital, and he got a 10% stake in Apple. Now, I'm gonna put in how much is $800 in, because basically this was like the late 70s, I want to say, that he invested in Apple. You get a date as far as, yeah. So it was like pretty much when my sister was born. Um, by the way, it's my birthday. I'll just say it is my birthday today. You know, I don't really, not really into birthdays and all of that. I'm a I was kind of raised early on to kind of be a stoic. So yeah, I didn't celebrate Christmas, and so really, when I was younger, I celebrated birthdays, but you know, it's like, man, it's just another day for the most part. Um, I just had to say that. But anyway, um, yeah, he basically put up his capital in like 76 for Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs to come out with this Apple, this new company, this new fledgling company. So we're gonna do an inflation calculator to find out what is $800 from 1976 to now, and see kind of what the difference is, because 1976, okay, gas was like, I don't know, less than $1, okay. Homes were cheap, cars were, you can get a brand new car. I remember seeing the car ads, like they got these old car ads from like the 60s and the 70s. You could buy a brand new freaking car off the lot for like $2,000. It's just stupid prices. But minimum wage at that time. Okay, what was minimum wage in 1976? Sure, it was pretty low. You got, 70s was pretty pretty rough. You had the oil embargo. You had basically people coming home from Vietnam. Had a lot of people look out of work. And this is from the older people, like the BGS, all of those guys, they, talking about, my uncles talking about, how things were in the 70s. During that time, I think my uncle was still in the Navy, but yeah, it was only $2.30 an hour. That was what the federal minimum wage was at that time. So $2.30, you know what I'm saying? That's not a lot of money. So if you had money back then, like, basically you were balling out of control. So we're gonna look at $800 back in 1976 to now. See what what we working with. So let's go with that. Okay. So it's only 4 grand. Okay, 4 grand right now, which 4 grand is quite a bit of money to me. I mean, to you it might not be that much. It's actually $4,400 as far as the buying power from that $800 to now. 4,000, that's a nice little chunk of change. I mean, that's like, it's kind of how much, like when I was, basically, um, that's typically what I would make, pretty much kind of like in my career field. Like that'd be like my monthly salary, or I mean not salary, but monthly pay for my job. And then of course I hustle, I do stuff outside of work. So probably make like an extra $1,000 outside of work. But yeah, for my job, yeah, about 4 grand, a little over 4 grand. That's about right. And that's before taxes, right? So after taxes is, it's like 3 grand, and a little over 3 grand. But the thing is that, it's a nice chunk of change, man. Imagine trying to save a whole salary for a whole month. That's kind of, people can do it, but that's kind of hard to do, man. But the thing is that this guy, you know, um, basically that's what he did. He put up $800. I mean, that probably got a lot of, $800 is a lot of money back then. Now he sold his stake for $800. He probably put way more money into Apple, okay, at the time, but that's what he sold it for, because see, here's the thing. This is what I'm talking about with investing, okay? And this is why I'm doing this, is one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because a lot of times in life, Like right now, right? Like even myself, like the sky is just so rough right now. It's like to me in my personal life right now is really, really rough. Okay. I'm not gonna hold you. Like it's a lot of shit going on. I got taxes, all kind of crazy crap, right? Um, got all kind of things, moving parts, all kind of shit, just all over the place, right? I kind of scale back on talking about my interpersonal life, so I'm not gonna tell you exactly what's going on with me. Like I used to do that, but it doesn't really profit me to tell you what the fuck is going on in my life, man. At the end of the day, nobody really cares. And two, um, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, watch it. Me telling you what the hell's going on in my life is like, it's like, it's null and void. And, I'll tell you like certain stuff or whatever, but I'm not gonna tell you the inner details of what's going on in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? I'll just say this: most of my problems were basically my student loans. Since those are no longer in my care, as far as I have to take care of those things, my situation is totally improved as far as the burden of that debt, basically hovering over me. So with that said, I mean, yeah, I'm still doing good, as far as like asset wise, like basically uh asset versus liabilities. I got way more I got way more going for me, as far as things is concerned as far as that balance sheet, um versus when I had my student loans, it was just all over the place. So, I say all of that to say this, right? A lot of times you go through stuff and you just think it's just so bad. You think you can't do something, or you think, you need to go to the pawn shop and sell your, whatever, your grandma's necklace or your grandma's heirloom or some shit like that. Like you think you gotta go sell some shit. What's going on, T Rilla? Like you know what I'm saying? You think you gotta go do all kinds of crazy shit. Cause to me, like you'll watch, and this is another thing. I had really stopped watching the news and shit too, right? That really helped me out too. Cause if you watching what everybody else thinking and you listen to news 24/7, you think the sky is falling. You think, oh my God, this what happened. This is what I learned in 2008 as well. People thought the fucking sky was gonna fucking cave in and the sun was gonna stop and the fucking moon was gonna, disappear. That's how people thought. Like they thought it was the fucking end of the world. The fact that, people lost their jobs and people couldn't pay their mortgages and people losing their house. That's what people thought. People thought like, oh, this is never gonna like it's never gonna stop. Freaking companies that was around during the slave trade, like Lehman Brothers, closing up shop. Everybody, like, that was the sentiment. People thought the fucking world was going to fucking end. And then what happened? About a good year later, next thing you know, market just it's like a small, walk, and then it started turning into a jog, and then next thing you know is fucking, AIG is taking off and it's making record profits. It's coming out of, basically the garbage can, and it's going, it's just going through the roof. GM is going, what I'm saying, basically going up. All of these stocks were just going through the roof, and then people that sold out, they didn't make no money from that. The market correction or whatever, they didn't make any money. And of course, people that bought the real estate that were available, they made some headway with that. And it's like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Like, okay, this is a lot you can learn from this guy. I mean, even myself, like I've pretty much I've talked about this before, where I had to self-examine my own problems, which is I have a problem with patience and stick to itiveness. Okay. Meaning, all right, if I'm going to do something, I gotta fucking wait till it goes through the cycles as long as I possibly can. And I have to stick to it. And it's like, those are one of my biggest issues of why I'm not richer than fucking shit, because I usually, like, I have this same syndrome that probably Ronald had back in the 80s when he sold Apple. I just was like, well, I gotta consolidate, move on. No, I mean, no, that's not what you do. You just stick with something and you just keep going. That's the method, that's the move. And it's like, yeah, Ronald Wayne, just like the headline says, if he would have held on to basically that 10% stake, Apple is basically worth over $1 trillion. So at the very least, he would have well over $100 billion just off of that 10% stake. Now, of course, I don't, Ronald was old back then. He was an old white guy with a whole bunch of money back then. That's why, Steve, came to him and needed some angel investments. So I don't know when Ronald. Let's see when Ron passed away, or if he's still alive. Um, I mean, he's definitely what I'm saying. I'm not gonna take away from. I don't think the dude basically. I don't think he, like, basically. No, Ronald's still kicking. Motherfucker, Ronald's still alive. You know what I'm saying? He's 90 years old. You know, he's still around. Now, I mean, he's an investor, he's a business exec, and basically he probably had other investments and shit. Like, yeah, he invested in Atari, he invested in Apple, of course, after Apple, pretty much. And here's another thing, that's why you shouldn't sell out, right? Let me show you what I'm talking about. Ronald's still kicking it, man. He's still eating motherfucking steaks and burgers and shit. Um, he's still alive. Okay, so that's great, right? So Ronald's still alive. But here's the thing: what I'm saying, like, you thinking you still have time, and then you still thinking that your greatest triumph is still around the corner. Nah, hell no. It might. What if your greatest triumph is what you already have? What you already working on, and you still thinking that you could sell out and then get something else. Man, pretty much the story of his life, if you read, it's right on Wikipedia. It pretty much ended with Apple. After Apple, it was over with for him. That was basically. Here's what I'm saying. You're you may have missed your opportunity in life, and that was your opportunity, and it was just like, it was and then you passed on it, and that was it. Like, sometimes it could be a situation where you had an opportunity, and that was your opportunity, and then you just passed on it, and that's it. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, that could be it. Like, whatever you like, you know what I'm saying? Think about it like this, right? I look at crypto, okay? Obviously, Bitcoin, I missed out on it. And then Dogecoin comes around. Well, Sheba, I didn't really, that big spike in, I think that was like 2022 or 2001. I mean 2021 or 2020 when it had a huge spike. It was very short. I don't know how long it was, but it was, if you had just $100, you would have been a millionaire just off of Shiba Inu. And Dogecoin was the same thing, right? And then you still had the guys that had a little money or whatever. They were saying cryptos ain't nothing and all that. But nah, Dogecoin is another thing, So the thing is they never rebounded. Dogecoin has never rebounded. Shiba Inu really hasn't rebounded, and had any spikes like it did. Dogecoin does. If you really look at Dogecoin or Dogecoin, some people say Dogecoin. I think it's Dogecoin. You really, to be honest, as far as how I look at it, when it goes like really low, you could just put a shit ton of money in it and just wait for it. It will come back up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen, like, basically playing the dip, like with Dogecoin, playing the dip. Like, if you got a nice little chunk of money to play the dip with, Dogecoin, literally, that's what it's been doing for the last year. I'll just open up a window and look at it. Don't believe me. We can look at it. Basically, that's what it's been doing. It's been going up and it's been going down. Um, let's just look at just 1 year. And the thing is like, that's just what it's doing. It's not necessarily you could bank on that. You know what I'm saying? You can't necessarily bank on it. But as you can see, this is just a 1 year chart. So literally, like, yeah, February, right? All right, put a shit ton of money in it. Boom, it goes up. And then it went up to like 18 cents. Then it goes down again. It went down to March 19th, 13 cents. Then boop, then went up to 22. So if pennies do add up, depending on how much money you got, like playing the dip, that's pretty much what Dogecoin has been. Just like a really good opportunity to play the dip when it goes down by a shit ton. Just wait till it go up, again. So, that's Dogecoin. I mean, of course, the highest high that it had was 64 cent. That was May 2021. I mean, it just hasn't done that. It's been, Dogecoin is actually a roller coaster stock that it just basically going down. As far as what I could look at this, as far as what I know of looking at thousands and thousands of charts over the years, Dogecoin is a roller coaster. It's not a stock; it's a crypto altcoin. Um, it was started just like Shiba as a joke, basically a joke coin, just something that somebody created, like a meme coin. Some people I think have you put it to some use, but it's not really in use. Like Ethereum is in use, Bitcoin, of course, is in use. Other coins are actually used on blockchain, right? But the thing is that from looking at this, if you just look at chart patterns, it probably is gonna go up a little bit. So putting a shit ton of, like, I really ain't tripping off of somebody say, man, I put $10,000 in Dogecoin. I'm just gonna let that shit sit. I wouldn't think nothing of it. I wouldn't be like, you're a dummy, you're an idiot. No, I wouldn't say that because it's like Like that's smart, in my opinion, because that's what it's been doing. It's been going down and it goes up. You see that from this 5-year chart right here. Like, I mean, basically it goes down, it goes up. So even if it goes down over time, it usually goes back up. That's basically what I'm saying. Like a lot of times, I say erythium. I make a sci-fi movie that doesn't exist. Is it Ethereum, right? Ethereum. I don't know why I be saying erythium. Like to me, that's how it looks. But it's yeah, it's Ethereum. It's not erythium. It's Ethereum, right? So yeah, man. Um but the thing is that that's just what it's been doing. Now, a lot of times what people do is they think the sky is falling. They think, oh my God, it's just gonna go down. It's just, it's just gonna be, really, really, um, really, really just the sky is falling and everything is just gone. And I mean, sometimes that is the case. Like with stocks, you have to really be careful if you really spending a lot of money. You got to look at, is this company going to, one, be delisted from the market, and is it going to have a reverse stock split as well? Because those are the two things that you want to watch. And then thirdly, which is worse, is if it goes bankrupt, if the company goes bankrupt. So those like the three. I'm sure you can think of other things, but those are the biggest three things when you're buying risky stocks, because those can happen, and that has happened. You buy a company and then you get a fucking letter. You get, because you're a shareholder. They, legally they have to send you out, some type of letter stating what's going on with the company, and scheduled meetings and all that. So yeah, by the time you got it, by the time you got a snail mail letter telling you the company is going bankrupt, it's already too late at that point. You missed it. You're supposed to read new. That's why I read, you know, with stocks and of course crypto, you got to look at charts. Obviously, stocks more reading the news. News is important. It's a, when I, in the field doing technical support work, right? Doing IT work, basically, I did a lot of investment companies like UBS, um, different different companies like banks. A lot of banks they have some type of trading arm, like they have traders like Wells Fargo, you know, are like, I think it's like, just various different companies that are they're basically like wealth managers. you know they're traders. Some of them are traders as well, and they have to have CNBC playing throughout their day. And it's like, people don't think, like, why do a trader need to watch CNBC all day every day? Why is it like, at, you and all, like, these people, it's so important, right? The news is so important to them, to just, trading overall, right? That it's in their office. They have a freaking TV in every office with CNBC playing 24/7. And the reason is because what bad news can drop a stock, faster than the New York minute. Okay. that's just how it is. So like I say, charts, news, um, and then fundamentals, right? Like, okay, the company's balance sheet, the company's debt, like EBITDA, you know, earnings before interest, taxes, and deductions, right? Uh, and it's like, yeah, those things are important as well, because you want to find out, okay, is this company holding some massive debt? That's it's just like you, a person, if you holding debt, that's kind of rough. Company just starting out, depending on the company, most companies, it takes a while for them to make a profit. They're gonna have debt. So the thing is that, okay, well, you have to kind of be that. That's where it goes in the accounting, where it's like you look at WeWork, and then you know you know what I'm saying. You look at their financial balance sheet. Let's just say a year ago, I think they already filed bankruptcy. You look at that, and then you like, oh well, this don't look right. I mean, okay, I understand a company got debt, but they got like a little bit too much debt. And it's like, those things are important when you're trying to analyze, should I buy this company or not. Sometimes people do things on a whim. I do things on a whim, as well. This is what I do, and I've been recently doing it. I'm trying to see if it's working out. Basically, I look at companies that is on a 52-week low, and I see their high is really, really high. I'll take the risk, and I'll just buy as much shares as I can. Um, that's just some new strategy that I've been, trying to do. But it's a risk involved in that. What if the company doesn't go back up? And you got to be a good judge of understanding, okay, this company is gonna possibly go back up, but you don't know if it's gonna go back up. But you just taking a good stab at it to see, okay, let me put my money in it and see if it goes back up. But anyway, all of that aside, Ronald Wayne, that's what he did. He took his assessment of, basically, Apple, and he said that Apple was going to fall. The sky was going to be falling on Apple, and he sold his shares for basically dirt cheap. Okay, um, $800 is not that much money. Back in the 1980s, even in the 80s, I mean, $800. I mean, hell, in the 80s, I had $100. I mean, I had got some money, from, like, I don't know, some money I had. I was, you know, I don't know. I can't tell you that story because it's kind of personal. But I'll just tell you this, man. Um, so I got $100, man. Let's just say it was like a settlement. So I'm like, 7 years old. I had basically, if I knew Ronald or Ronnie Ron, and I was just like Richie Rich, meaning I was in the stocks, and let's see, what time was that? I was like 11. No, it was too late by then. He already sold Apple, so it'd have been too late. But no, that technically I had $100 in the that was the early 90s. So that don't, yeah. I'm trying to think, did I have a hundo in the 80s though? I think I probably did, because You get, presents, gifts, shit, and grandma give you some money, your uncle give you some money. I mean, I don't know. I probably didn't. I'll say probably not. Probably didn't have 100. But I probably did. I don't know. But the thing is that $800 wasn't it was a lot of money to a 10-year-old, but for an adult, that was like a paycheck. That was like, okay, $800 was just like, maybe a paycheck, man. You gonna pay your rent, pay your car payment, maybe, pay some child support. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And then, you go out and kick it with the fellas, man, have a few brews. I mean, it wasn't a lot of money. So this guy had to think that Apple was just, so terrible. He got tired of it and he sold it. Um, but it's just terrible. You think of the grand scheme of things of, basically, why this guy thought the way he did. It kind of reminds me of the Bitcoin pizza. And I know you know about the Bitcoin pizza story. And it's actually a Bitcoin pizza day now, Um, it just kind of reminds me of that. It reeks of Bitcoin pizza. The story, when I think of Ron Wayne, um, old Ronnie Ron, I think of the Bitcoin pizza story. So here's the thing, right? Here's a couple people that were around before Ethereum, before Bitcoin. You know, I got T Riddler's pronunciation lessons. Now I don't say Ethereum anymore. I say Ethereum like it's pronounced. So basically we have a couple people in a Bitcoin crypto early adopter scenario. Of course, you got the founders, that's the Japanese dude and all the other people that were like on the inside of Bitcoin, right? They had a whole bunch of tokens and, probably still got some. Then you got people that were like super uber into technology and stuff like that. And they had got, some Bitcoin, right? um they were in the know. They were, you got the dude that basically he's still trying to figure out if his computer is in a landfill. He hasn't found it yet. I don't think so because I ain't heard anything about it. But you got these people that basically they lost their wallet or whatever the case may be. They don't know where their Bitcoin is. And then you got people that just like, because if you won't probably lose your wallet, you won't lose millions and millions of dollars or whatever. You won't do that if you knew that this thing was going to be this valuable resource where it's just worth more money than fucking a house. One Bitcoin is a house in Gary, Indiana that's rent ready. I mean, like literally like one Bitcoin. And it didn't start out that way. I'm gonna play this pizza story with this guy. Basically, he bought some fucking pizza with Bitcoin. He didn't take it serious. Okay, so you got the people that are the early adopters, basically the founders. Then you got the people that were in the know. It had some Bitcoin, and then you got the third people that they were in the know and they bought Bitcoin and they just didn't give a fuck about it. And then you got the fourth type of person that would be me. I was even into technology, but I didn't care about it. I didn't think it was no big deal, and that's one of my problems either. Like I think more things are a big deal now than I ever thought before in life. Like I look at damn near everything as a big deal. You know, even if I don't want it to be, I know it's kind of a big deal. I'm just like not paying attention to it. Like a broad that I'm trying to have sex with, you know what I'm saying? She might have like, some skin tags on her neck or some shit. You know, I'm like, it's no big deal because she ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm still trying to hit, but them skin tags might be something that's showing that she got cancer or some shit. As far as I know, you know what I'm saying? I'm not paying it no attention. Maybe she ain't hygienic or whatever the case may be, but yeah, definitely they didn't think it was a big deal, and you know what I'm saying, they didn't know it was gonna go off like it was gonna go off. But let's play this guy's story, you know what I'm saying?
Money makes the world go around.
I'm going somewhere with this, and I hope you're paying attention, because you might be the type of person that do some dumb shit, like just throw your fucking money in a trash can.
But we could be moving towards a world without cash. From credit cards to Apple Pay and cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, cash is no longer king.
When I say Bitcoin, you say what? Pizza?
This is Laszlo Hanyet of Jacksonville, and it was a pizza delivery order 9 years ago that began the cryptocurrency craze.
I just told people I wanted a pizza and I want to pay with Bitcoin. I didn't want a gift card. I didn't want some weird exchange. I wanted to give you Bitcoin and you give me pizza.
The 37-year-old computer programmer created this thread in an online forum and posted that he would pay someone 10,000 Bitcoins for a couple of pizzas. A user from England took him up on the offer, and these pizzas were delivered to Hanyet's home. At the time, the 10,000 Bitcoins were worth about $40. Today, they would be worth $1.
So this is old. So this is dated 4 years ago. Okay. Okay, 10,000. We all know the price. Okay, what's the price of Bitcoin right now? Okay. Now it dropped, significantly, right? Because it's a drop off, right? And Bitcoin is kind of doing the same thing that, well, actually, it's kind of doing something different in Dogecoin. Bitcoin is actually kind of doing what Dogecoin is doing, but in reverse, because it basically was going up and up and up, and then recently it's going down. I mean, it's up 30,000 over the year, but right now it's at $56,000. Okay, so we all know the math is not mathing on here, and that this video was 4 years ago. So that is totally different and actually worse now, because we all know that that's not correct. So you can add another, just basically 400. It'll be 560 million in today's Bitcoin price. What this will be, this 100 million, it's way worse than that. See, here's the thing, man. Kudos to this man for not jumping off a bridge, jumping out the window, getting a revolver, because basically this hurts. This some hurting ass shit. This ain't no, you broke up with your, half Ethiopian, half Indian girlfriend or wife, left you for another dude. No, that's bad. That hurts. I'm sure that hurts. But this hurts worse than that, because you gotta fucking eat this. You literally, like, some shit you dookied out, some like nasty. I mean, like, I ain't gonna say Papa John's is nasty. It's okay, but it's not like the only like it's not like the best pizza in the world. It's not like nothing compared to 10,000 Bitcoin. But at the time, this guy, he was trying to exchange something that probably was kind of like a joke. Basically what I'm saying is, at that time that he bought those pizzas, Bitcoin was like basically a joke. It was like basically like Dogecoin and Shiba. It was just like it was all a joke. Like it wasn't nothing to really take serious. It was just something that could be possibly revolutionary one day, but it was just basically a joke. That's why he joking around talking about can he get pizzas, and this is what happened. This is 4 years ago. This will be 400, like I say, 560 million, and Bitcoin is fucking crashing. You know what I'm saying? Like even still with it crashing, because literally Bitcoin just fucking a week ago, no, just a month ago, it was basically Bitcoin was at 64,000 a Bitcoin a month ago. Basically in August, not even a month ago, fucking 2 weeks ago, it was at $64,000. But even still with it, basically on the downside, it's still $56,000. Way more than $100 million that that it's in this video. This was 4 years ago. So let me finish playing this here.
100 million.
People ask me, "Oh man, what an idiot! Why don't you keep that Bitcoin?" And it's like, well, somebody had to start it off.
The pizza was purchased at this Papa John's on Atlantic Boulevard. There's even a plaque on the wall with the date May 22nd, 2010, and a proclamation that Jacksonville is the home of the first Bitcoin purchase. Tim Mosbach is the general manager.
It's just not.
That's fucked up, right? So this how fucked up this is, right? I mean, I don't really like. I'm sure this how close to home this is, right? I got family that lived in Jacksonville at that time for sure, and they probably had Papa John's. They probably even know where the fucking Papa John's that is. I don't know how many Papa John's they are in Jacksonville, but they probably been to that Papa John's, and they ain't really getting no Bitcoin. They didn't get into Bitcoin or anything like that. It's like. It's crazy. Like, I mean, it's just, and they probably even know about the story. And I just never brought it up. I'm gonna ask my cousin about that. Does he know about that? And my cousin now definitely is into crypto. I mean, he definitely into crypto, but he ain't really it's it's like crypto is like. You got a lot of altcoins that's doing a lot of stuff. It's got coins coming out a lot, like regularly is what every month or whatever is a new coin, coming out. Some dude is trying to get his mom to, show their titties to, get people to buy his new coin that he created. I mean, it's all kind of coins coming out, and then some of those coins they take off, I mean, it's a lot of altcoins. Like a lot of people are into crypto. They know about these different coins. They're into them, so they're making money off of them. It's more to cryptos than basically Dogecoin, Shiba, and Bitcoin. Like it's like a shit ton of altcoins, because everything outside of Bitcoin is altcoins. So technically Ethereum is an altcoin. Obviously, Dogecoin and all of the other are basically alternative coins to Bitcoin. And it's like it's a lot of them that they go up. You can see them. You can see the chart. They going up. They're taking off. It's like some people are buying these coins. So the thing is this, right? This guy, I mean, kudos to him because it's like, it's like a love that you never really had. So you really never really had it, so you don't really miss it much. You think about the opportunities, like the opportunity was possibly there. I was in the IT then. I was just starting out when Bitcoin was coming out. I remember hearing a little bit about it, but I wasn't like in the know. It wasn't none of my peers talking about I'm buying crypto, like I'm buying Bitcoin. Like it wasn't like that, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, people influence you, they word of mouth, it wasn't nothing like that. But the thing is that it was a possibility. But the thing is that I never did anything. But these guys, they had the coins, and they didn't take it serious. They tried to do something. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's saying it like, I guess him buying those pizzas changed the whole trajectory of Bitcoin because I guess it wasn't really tradable, and then now he made it tradable by basically buying these pizzas. So he's kind of, I guess he's saying he's like a historian to the point where he kind of helped Bitcoin kind of take off. I mean, I don't know, but I guess whatever helps you sleep at night.
Nice to see history being made here.
So here's how you slice it on how Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies work. It's like buying and selling a stock. The difference is Bitcoin's a computer file, which is stored in a digital wallet app on your smartphone or computer. Every transaction is encrypted and is impossible to counterfeit. Do you trust Bitcoin?
That's a good question.
Don Wiggins is a professor emeritus of accounting and finance at UNF. He says Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are not controlled by banks or the government.
You think the government fears cryptocurrency?
I think they do. It's anonymous, and nefarious activities as well as perfectly legitimate activities can take place without the ability of anyone outside the government specifically being able to track payments.
As for Hanyat, he says crypto.
Yeah, it's a dark side to everything. Cryptos have a hella dark side. Like when you go to the dark side, like we talking about pizzas and ice cream and candy and shit. But what about motherfucking Bitcoins and all kind of other coins or altcoins? Let's just say mainly instruments for trade is Ethereum, Bitcoin, and it's like others that are used too. But you got Bitcoin Cash, you got XRP, but XRP is kind of volatile. They fighting a court case, or they finalizing some type of court case. You got Litecoin. You know what I'm saying? Like basically Bitcoin and definitely Ethereum has been used in basically getting people murdered. Like, yeah, you go pay your hitman in Ethereum or Bitcoin, and then they go out and carry the job, and then nobody knows because the transaction is mired or encrypted. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was like a tool, like, people done bought all kind of black market type stuff, done paid for hits using crypto. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the dark side, like, of those transactions. Just like in, transactions as far as using currency, using, the American dollar or whatever. Like, people use money to, pay for, what I'm saying, nefarious activities, criminal activities, violent crime. I mean, shoot, I'm sure, I mean, the hood, you know, what a hit was $500 that somebody will run up on you and you know bust a couple shots. I mean, like yeah, I mean, people, you know, people do stuff for you know money. I mean, but you know, yeah, cryptos is a alternative form of currency. So yeah, they've used that for that and probably still doing. They it's how people, you know, probably use that to buy, you know, drugs and all kind of shit, you know. So yeah, it is a dark side to that market, you know, just as it is in regular currency.
Cryptocurrencies and a cashless society is a dawning of a new day
Do you think it's the future of money?
I do.
and a different kind of dough than pizza. Ben Becker, CBS 47, Fox 30, Action News checks.
And Bitcoin's prices increased from pennies to thousands of dollars over the years. So in July of 2010, the price increased 900% in 5 days from less than a penny to 8.
Yeah, July 2010, I had my computer store. Shoot, man, it was yeah, it was like it was, you know, I didn't really know about it like that. Like it was I probably heard about it or maybe, you know what I'm saying, read some articles or maybe saw some articles popped up, but I didn't know about it like that. Like it wasn't, you know, on the radar like that, you know. Um but you know what I'm saying? That just, you know, just goes to show, you know, when you take stuff serious, you know, you take it serious. When you don't, you know what I'm saying? You do things like Ronald Wayne here, you know, and you do these things right here.
Ronald G. Wayne, born May 17, 1934, in the midst of the Great Depression. Jobs had this focus. Once he got an idea in his head, that was it. And you never wanted to be between him and where he wanted to go. You'd wind up with footprints on your forehead. This is the contract that I personally typed up. He regarded me as something of a minor mentor because I was somewhat more diplomatic than he was. There was a problem he was having at that time with Steve Wozniak. I said, bring him over to the house, we'll sit down, we'll chat. And it took me 45 minutes, certainly less than an hour, to get him to understand, no, you can't do it that way for a business enterprise. Okay, fine. He bought into it, he understood. And at that moment in time, Steve Jobs says, we are going to form a company. "12 days later, I went down to the registrar's office and had my name taken off the contract. If the company goes poof, we are individually liable for the debts of the company. Well, Jobs and Wozniak didn't have two nickels to rub together. I had a house, and a bank account, and a car, and I was reachable. Some months later, I get this letter in the mail with a check for $1,500. I believe it was $1,500. And the letter says, all you got to do is sign away every possible interest you could have in the Apple Computer Company, and the check is yours. Well, I figured that I had already done that. As far as I was concerned, it was found money, you know, so I went ahead and I signed.
See how you get comfortable? You see how you talking about? That's what I'm talking about, right? Like my house, like, you know, I really concern myself about this house, but be honest, my house, my bank accounts, my cars. I care about these things, but I don't care about them like that. Like the big picture is not me. Like my end all be all ain't this house that I'm living in. That's not too far away from the house on Netflix that is pretty much trending, which is Demon House, right? Indiana has a lot of haunted houses for whatever reason. I mean, God forbid, I hope my house isn't, but nevertheless, I don't give a shit that much about these things personally because this is not where I want to end. This is not where I want this. This is kind of like the process. Like you know what I'm saying? You're going through the motions. Like this house I learned a lot. I learned about, I became a better handyman with this house. I learned more how to deal with contractors. I learned, what I'm saying? Like before I had this house, I didn't know anything about plumbing. Now, I mean, last summer, like over the winter, last winter or something like that, I fucking put a fucking water heater. I installed a water heater. You know what I'm saying? Like my skills have gotten better. My know-how, my knowledge has gotten more. Like those things I can take to me to another house, another investment opportunity. The end of the day, these things are assets. They're places you live, they're property, and it's like it's not the end all be all is not this. Like my ultimate goals, obviously, I mean, I sell a book. It's called The Millionaire Savings Plan, of course. Yes, in my plans, my millionaire savings plan, I have the things I want, big ass house and all that type of shit, yeah, right. But this right now I'm cool with it and I respect it and I'm grateful of it. I worked hard to get where I'm at with this house and I still got more work to be done. But I'm not like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I get the picture of you worried about somebody gonna do this and go do that. But think of the error in you being basically he wasn't being risk averse. You know what I'm saying? He was basically being concerned about liabilities on his personal assets and shit like that. And that's the common person. That's not an investor mind. That's like basically a mindset of a regular person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that, you know what I'm saying? That basically put him in a situation where he's like the pizza guy, the Bitcoin pizza guy, he's pivotal as far as he helped, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak get to a certain plateau in their career, but he didn't get nothing out of it because he didn't see it. Nothing. It was just some money that, like you say, just some money in the mailbox.
Steve Jobs was looking for a mentor. I wouldn't have thought him the type to be open to any sort of constructive criticism from what I read of him. I agree. People must be fascinated by Steve Jobs and just what he was.
Oh, of course. And should be. He was a fascinating man. Who made Apple what it was? Obviously, Jobs' technique. All right. Was Jobs a nice guy? In many ways, no. But
Steve Jobs also sold some of his stake in Apple as well. If not sold all of it, but then Steve Jobs is like a very interesting case study because Steve Jobs to me, he's like a king. You know, when I think of Steve Jobs, I think of like a king of kings. Like Steve Jobs reminds me of Haile Selassie, Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia. So technically, during the Italians, the second Italian war with Ethiopia and Italy, technically Haile Selassie was supposed to basically be dethroned, but what happened was he went to Italy. He expressed his case. I think he made a speech with I don't know, was it the UN or something like that? But basically, he got his crown back. He lost his crown technically, right? Got dethroned. He had to go into exile and leave Ethiopia during that war, with Italy. And he basically got his crown back. That's what Steve Jobs did. He left Apple. They basically kicked him out. He was forced to, I guess, sell his shares. Then they brought him back because he was Apple. He was the heart of Apple. Like he literally basically made Apple what it is today. Even with his second resurrection of coming back to Apple, he made Apple again what Apple needed to be. That you have all these iPads and you got, I got an iPhone right here. I got, a couple of them. I got, what I'm saying? Like, the MacBooks and all of that. That's from Steve Jobs. Okay. And of course you got, he's gone, you got Steve, Tim Cook. They just basically they passed the baton and they run it with it, and it's just a well-oiled machine, because that's what a business is. A business is supposed to, if you dead and gone, it should keep going. It's, you got the gears, you got the manual to basically run this machine. You got basically the products that, the business process to run this machine. And then without you even being there, it could run, and it runs good. It runs efficient. It no squeaks. It's well oiled. It's running. Because most people, the idea that business is from, they might have an uncle or their mom or their dad or their grandparents. Like myself, my grandparents had a small business. So, to me, it's like I look at business. I'm like, man, yeah, you could be a millionaire, but you're going to have to work your ass off. And yeah, you do, but that's if you want to be like that. Like I asked my grandfather before he died, I said, why did you, just run the business every day like that? Like, why didn't you just, delegate tasks and duties to other people and just, basically sit back and relax and fish and travel and just let people run your store? Most people, they don't have trust like that. And then in the 70s and the 60s and even the 80s, they didn't have camera systems like they do now. They didn't have, all of these things and technology that they do now, where you could just you could be at home. You could have a fucking TV on your wall, or monitor, whatever. You can have a 50-inch TV in your room, and you could be laying in bed and you could just watch your store, watch the camera feed in your store while you in the bed. If that's what you need to do, as far as or you got companies, and it's been like this for decades, that they're a paid monitoring service. They can watch your business 24/7. I mean, of course, during the hours of operation, and any chance of like an emergency or something like that, because the technology is there. I mean, basically, you can have a monitoring service where you don't even have to really watch the cameras. The monitoring service has paid technicians that will key into certain camera footage, that if they see anything that is nefarious. So basically, you don't even have to even watch the cameras. You can have a paid monitoring service watch the cameras for you. And it's so easy now because they have, basically the infrared technology and basically the motion sensing. The cameras will you can have it where the cameras only come on if there's motion. So when somebody comes in a particular area, the cameras already come on. It is no need to have a continuous feed. So if there's no action, the camera won't even come on. So it's like, it's all these different technologies that are available now. This just wasn't available back then. So, but I mean, I asked him and he said that's how he wanted to run his business, I mean, but the thing is that a well-oiled machine like Apple, it started just like that, like Steve's, my grandfather, he had more than enough money in 1976 to help Steve Jobs. He had more money than this guy. My grandfather in the 70s, he had, not only did he have his house that he lived in, he had buildings above the store that he was collecting rent. My grandfather was absolutely balling. Okay. I mean, like, it you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, he had the money to give back then, and it's just it's about who you know. He didn't know any. He wasn't in California, in Silicon Valley. He was on the south side of Chicago. So just proximity and people. He just wasn't in the know. So the thing is that he was doing fairly well, like exceptionally well. My grandfather was rich at that time. This guy, he's just struggling, trying to pay a mortgage, and concerned about losing his house and shit. Like, my grandfather was fucking rolling in dough. Okay, you know what I'm saying? My grandfather was concerned, but he was rolling in dough. Then he had a safe. He used to put money in every day after the store closed. You take money to the bank every day. So the thing is, my grandfather, to this day, he taught me how to be a very good small business owner. But to be a business owner is to have a machine that runs itself. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you. And a lot of people confuse the two. If you got to be at your business and it's for it to operate fully functionally, that means that you have a business, but it's a small business. You don't have a business yet, because a business is an actual system. The system is worth its weight in gold. Okay, it's worth the rarest of the rarest gem and metal, because it's a system that you can run anywhere in the world. Tesla, they can go build a Tesla factory anywhere, and then basically run it and operate it, because it's systems, it's actual business processes and systems that are worth its weight in gold. Like I say, I mean, you know, and it took a while for Steve Jobs and Wozniak and other people that, you know, started Apple to get to that point. But Steve had that. Nobody else had that. He was the one that knew how to run that Apple, not anybody else.
But that doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what did it take to make Apple what it was.
I think people will watch this and they'll say, surely, as Ron's about to go to sleep, he must often think of what could have been with Apple. I mean, do you?
I knew exactly what would have been if I'd have stayed with the company. I would have wound up heading a very large documentation department at the back of the building, shuffling papers for the next 20 years of my life. And that was not the future that I saw for myself. Find something that you enjoy.
That was a boomer cop-out. That's actually a silent generation cop-out. You know, it's like the bullshit your parents tell you to justify some bullshit they did. That's what that was. Because he wouldn't be shuffling any paperwork. All it means when you got a stake in a company, you know, it's like basically you have ownership. You don't have the people that you know basically meet for you know, they're board members of the board for a company. They're not shuffling any damn paperwork. They're coming into the board meeting, drinking their coffee, eating their donuts, their you know, delicatessens or sandwiches, whatever they have at the board meetings, and they, you know, discussing any type of business actions or functions or anything that needs to come up for a vote, and then they going home. You know, he just said that to justify his ego, his old ass ego. That's all that is, because you know, it's not about 20 years of shuffling. It's about 20 years of you basically, you know, owning that stake, and you know, certainly you can cash out some of it at over time, and you know, you know, you'll be, you know, you can do whatever you want to with it, you know, just like anybody else, you know, that owns part of a company and cashes in, you know. So and that's, you know, not to mention all of the stock splits and all of that type of stuff, you know, and it's like, yeah, it's a cop out. That's some shit he's just saying, and you could tell, because like, I'm gonna play this again. Look at the body language. Look at the body language when he says this goofy shit.
I would have wound up heading a very large documentation department at the back of the building.
Look at him moving them big ass sausage fingers left and right, twitching.
Building, shuffling papers for the next 20 years of my life, and that was not the future that I saw for myself. Find something.
That's him. That when somebody does that, they're acting basically. There's like acting mode.
Thing that you enjoy doing so much that you'd be willing to do it for nothing, and you'll never work a day in your life.
Now, this is old too. This is 8 years ago. That 10% share would be worth over 100 billion now. I mean, Apple went through the roof, you know. Apple is, you know, it's one of the most valuable companies. Like, Apple was actually in the FANG. So when you trade, like, you could literally like trade FANG, right? You can have your own. If you see, this is some advanced stuff, you know, and I'm for it. You know, I'm definitely into investing. You could just basically, let's say you got 100 grand, right, or $1 million. You can even just have 10,000. You just buy FANG companies. What is FANG companies? Facebook, Apple, what's the other one? Nvidia and Google. You just buy those four, buy those four, and you're good. Like you could probably add something to it, you know. I mean, but you're good. You know, you good. You know what I'm saying? Like if you buy just Fang, FANG, Facebook, Apple, Nvidia, Google, you can have that'd be your own ETF that you can create, and you good off of those four stocks. And the thing is that because Apple itself is one of the most, it's in I want to say Apple is the most highly valued company in America. And you know, like as far as like valuation is over, it's like worth over $2 trillion or something like that, or something crazy. Like it's worth basically Apple is worth trillions now. Okay. So the thing is that all of that is just it's cope speech, you know, that he just said. Like, you know, and it's like, you know, don't just, you know, that's why I don't do that. I don't do that cope shit. That's why it's like, you know, I'm honest with you. If I do disclose anything that's going on or whatever, I'm not giving you no cope talk. I'm telling you like it is. Like, no, I missed out on that shit. And it's like, yeah, it's fucked up, but I missed out on it. And I'm trying to tell you, you know, I'm like the wino on the corner missing teeth. And you know, I'm you know what I'm saying? If you got a little spare change or whatever, man, so I go get a sip, you know, I'm trying to tell you how to not be, you know, fucked up in the game, you know, and you know, don't do that. Don't waste your life away, and you know what I'm saying, trying to justify shit that you know you fucked up on with some coke talk, you know, and then I, you know what I'm saying, you know, and I just ask you if you got some spare change.
I'm there about to cry. I'm broke. I'm really a broke nigga, yo. I'm really a broke nigga. I'm really a broke nigga.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like, yeah, I missed out on a lot of, like, this channel, I've, you know, talked about things before it happened, like AMC, GameStop in real time, and missed out on it because, you know, I might at that time, I'm not gonna lie, like, okay, I ain't had no money really at that time. Like, I literally was like, I was riding an old ass pickup truck that I bought, right? And my BMW, I mean my Benz went out. I ain't gonna say like I had a whole bunch of money, like, but here's the thing. I could have, if knowing, okay, when it went up, you don't worry about what you don't have. You get whatever you can get and you put it in the fucking market. You don't make no excuses. Whatever the fuck you got to do at the time. Like, let's just say you knew something was gonna possibly happen. Go fucking call a tow truck, you know, and go get and go sell that car that's in your driveway that's been sitting for a year or sitting for years or something. You find some fucking money. You know, go, you know, whatever the hell you got to go do to get some money. You gonna find it if you know you're gonna make some money, unless you're an idiot. I'm just saying, don't be an idiot. Okay, I'm the wino in the front of the corner store telling you not to be a fucking idiot like these motherfuckers, man. Like even my ass, man. I'm telling you, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't believe the sky is falling. The news, I mean, those news reporters, like, Chicago, the celebrities are news reporters. Like, so Chicago really don't have no industry like that. So if you see a news reporter, you ain't gonna, like, I've seen celebrities come through Chicago, but mostly, like, the most you gonna see is a fucking news reporter. And the news reporters do make some money. They make, a couple $100,000 a year or something like that. And they live in, mansions that's worth millions of dollars, because you find out because they put them on the market, when they retire or something like that. But it's like, yeah, that's the closest thing you're gonna have, like, as far as in Chicago. But I say all of that to say, yeah, don't be a news hound. Believe in everything you see on the news as far as like the sky is gonna fall. Like, yeah, the stocks are gonna, like, even the stocks now. Stocks are fucking, going through the roof. It's definitely going down. Like, we can look at it. Stocks is, I don't know what had happened today. It's still, yeah, today another is a bloody day on the market. Some people are not as well versed as other people. Like, I'm older, so I've been through stuff like this. Yeah, it's another bloody day in the markets. The Nasdaq went up today, though. Yeah, it's a bloody day in the market. There's a lot of blood in the water. But see, here's the deal. This is where you buy the stocks that are low, and you hold them to when they go high. You make your money. But you gotta do your due diligence. You gotta do your due diligence. You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta make sure it's a good investment. I do know a little bit about stocks. I know enough that I am 100% confident that, let's say a rich guy gave me $1 million to trade. I believe that I can make that man some money. Now, the thing is, it's like, duh, who can't make money off of $1 million? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the question. Like, people will say that, but a lot of people can't. A lot of people don't know how to make any money. Like, because you gotta think, right? Okay, here's the deal. Let's talk about money, right? If motherfuckers knew how to make money, right? All of these people that make money, right? Rappers, celebrities, whoever, they would have money if they knew how to invest money. It's not something that everybody knows how to do. A lot of people don't know business and investing. That's just something people, not the average person. You don't come out your mama coochie knowing how to invest, knowing business. You learn that over time. So it's not to be taken lightly. Now the thing is, yeah, $1 million it's a lot of money to make money off of. You can lose $1 million though if you don't know what you're doing, or you're supposed to manage risk. So here's the thing, right? When it comes to stocks, it's money management. Okay, you're not supposed to, like, if you got $1 million, you're not supposed to risk all your $1 million. You got, and this is another thing as far as what I'm trying to learn and trying to think, but I swing for the fences. I'm like, Hank Aaron when I come up to bat, man. I'm trying to hit that motherfucking home run, man. So, I guess what I'm saying is you probably shouldn't do that. You should try to, if you got, let's say you got 10,000, you should not invest all of your 10,000. You should probably only invest like, 4 grand out of that 10,000, not all of it, so that way you're not overly invested. So if you manage your risk by, okay, if you basically lose any money basically or whatever, you basically don't lose all of your money. You still have 6 grand, or you still you didn't put all of your money up. So yeah, it's though that concept is part of that too. And I haven't really been talking too much about that, but I'm talking about it now. You are supposed to, and I read this in books, when I was starting out, and I had a girlfriend that was a trader, a financial analyst, and worked in finance. And she had a book, how to trade stocks, and it's a real old book. It's a very good book. But even in that book, I remember reading, you gotta basically manage your risk by not risking all of your money. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose your shirt, and your pants. Okay. You could lose your shirt, but you don't want to lose your pants and be butt naked. That's basically what I'm saying. So, the thing is that I know this concept, might be foreign to a lot of people's ears because most people are, average people. They're not, probably most of the people that listen to me are not traders, are not investors, not, business people. I get it. But for my audience that is, you might be going through some shit. I'm going through some shit. Like, I mean, the stuff I'm going through now, it's like, I talked about this on my channel, it's not bad. It's actually the thing is that when I think about it, like, I'm like, this shit is annoying. But when I think about it, I remember the old person that had, 60 grand in debt with student loan debt, right? And it's like, okay, well, now I'm that person that don't got that much debt, and it's like, wow, okay, yeah, this is, it's not that bad as you think about it. You think about the whole overall picture. That's why basically people have a net worth. That's why people have a net worth, because it's like, if you look at it, it's like your net worth is like, oh, okay, it's actually, this guy's not broke. This guy's got a little money. But when you got debt and all of that, it's your whole net worth is blown through the roof. Like, you just just like, man, you're broke, because you know what I'm saying, you got all of these debts, all these liabilities, so it's like, it took me a while to get to be this way, to be basically knowing about finance, like assets over liabilities, basically, cars, houses, art, collectibles, jewelry, gold, coins, those things are assets. Liabilities are, loans and credit cards and stuff like that. Even though credit cards, if you pay them down, you can use them as credit lines. You can use them to, like, for example, if you got a $50,000 credit card, let's just say, that's a tool. If you pay it down, okay, go get a house, right? I'm also am into some people. A lot of people are they either in the real estate, and that's what they into. They don't invest. They don't buy. They ain't in the trade. They ain't, ain't got 4 monitors at home. They ain't, You know what I'm saying? They ain't charting it. They don't know anything about that. Or they don't even fuck with that. You know, I'm not that guy. I'm a different investor in the sense where I do real estate and I'm into real estate. And I'm also into stocks and crypto and you know, options and stuff like that. So that's you know, I know it's other people that do that too, but you know, that's me. Like, but most people, if you talk to most people, they just do one or the other. They don't really, if they invest in and doing stocks and they buying stocks and options and trading and all of that, they don't have time for real estate. Or they're not into real estate like that. You know, they might invest some money with a group of friends or some shit, whatever. But the thing is that most people are just one or the other. Me, I'm both. You know, and it's like the thing is that with real estate, you know, that's where that credit comes into play because, you know, you can buy a house and then, you know, basically use that credit card to buy the material that you need to fix the house up, to renovate the house so it could be on the market, so you could put it on the market and sell it, you know, and then pay back down that credit card. Now you got a tool. But see, most people, the thing is most people, they use a credit card to, you know, pretend like they're rich or whatever, or, you know, buy a bunch of, you know, stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not, you know, and the thing is that the old me, yeah, I used to think like that. Like, yeah, oh, you know, Gucci belts. And I mean, I never had a Gucci belt, but that was my mindset, like buying, you know, food and clothes and, you know what I'm saying, like cars and shit. And it's like, you know, the thing is, it's like, okay, cars ain't bad. You could use that credit card also to buy cars, right? And then fix them up. As long as you making money, okay, the ends justify the means. But if you know, using credit cards like most people, you know, going to the movies, going taking trips, going to pretend like you balling, like you tricking on hoes and shit. No, no, that's not it. You know, that's not how you use that. But because I don't, you know, if you got credit cards and you use them to make money and stuff like that, you know, that's a good thing. That's a good tool to use. Because see, here's the thing, like I call it rich people's money. You know, I'm starting to kind of weirdly get credit. You know, I'm like, I don't know who to. I don't know. I'm like, damn, I'm getting credit now and shit. Like, I'm like, damn, okay. So, you know, it's not a lot. It's nowhere near 50 grand, none of that. But it's like, yeah, I use that shit. Like I got some flooring. I got some laminate flooring, wood laminate flooring. Like I was able to get some credit to get that done. I got some PayPal credit, and then I got credit cards. Um, I'm using this shit to fix this goddamn old ass house up. I'm not, you know, using this to like, you know, trick off and all that type of shit. Like I'm using this shit to make money, man. I'm trying, you know what I'm saying? It's, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not playing around, you know. So the thing is that you know, I got flooring on the floor now, and I've been just, you know, slowly putting it down because I know how to do flooring myself, you know. Not as good as those pros, but you know, I know how to do, you know, do flooring. It's not that difficult, but you do have to make sure you're doing it right. Or it's not gonna look good, you know, so you gotta make sure you're doing it properly. You some spaces, some parts of you got to use glue. But you know, the thing is that yeah, man, I totally, like, you know, rich people's money, if you using that shit to get rich, that's the tool, you know. But a lot of times what people do is, you know, they using that shit to trick off and do all kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, it's not gonna make you, the ends doesn't justify the means, you know. So you gotta think about it, right? And especially if you come from a family where, you know, basically nobody is really well off. You don't come from a well-to-do family. That means you the only person, you would have to be that person that's well-to-do, and you don't have anybody else to fucking help you either. So you know, it's do or die, you know. And it's like, for every little thing you doing and all that tricking off and all that, that's taken away from you know, you actually, you know, being well off, you know. You taking away from your, you know what I'm saying, your grandchildren's inheritance and all that type of stuff. You know, the baton is just gonna be that harder for them to, you know, basically when you do pass it to them, they have to fucking go full speed ahead, you know, and just, you know, make up ground, you know, to win the race. Because it's like, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to cover ground, so when you pass that baton, you know what I'm saying, they could just, the next person could just coast, and then they pass the baton, and then they coast some more. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying, a lot of times, you know, it's like we in a situation, and a lot of black people are like this, definitely. You getting a baton, your ass, goddamn it, got high blood pressure. You out of breath because you trying to cover ground. You like, God, you can't sleep. You like, God damn, you trying to cover the motherfucking whole fucking earth, trying to catch up because you so far behind. You know, you so far behind, and you just like, you goddamn can't sleep. You still running in your sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit is crazy, yo. That is so crazy. But it's the truth. Like, yeah, you know, so much ground to cover. It's just mind-boggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it's just like, whoa. Shit. And then a lot of times, like, you ain't gonna even catch them. You know, some people ain't gonna, you know, who knows if you gonna catch up. And then you gotta pass the baton. You know, a lot of times your parents pass the baton to your ass, and they didn't even win, you know, they was far behind already, and they passing it to you, you know, to cover ground. And it's like, damn, you gotta pass the baton to somebody else, and you still ain't cover ground, but you covered a little bit of it. They gotta, you know, cover some more ground, you know. And then they, you know, they do it, you know, maybe, you know, they become a dentist or a doctor, a lawyer, and then they, you know, he's like, damn, you know, visit your children, and they got this big old house, and you know, you like, damn, they, you know, finally covered some ground, you know. You're just like, damn, okay. But you know, it's like, yeah, that happens. That's why, you know, you had the families where the grandfather worked in a steel mill, and then the son went to college, you know, and then his kids, you know, did something or whatever, went to go play basketball, and you know, became you know, all-American, and you know, then made it to the NBA, and then he's, you know, multi-millionaire. It's like, yeah, it's just multi-generations of passing the baton and trying to cover ground. And you know, it just, a lot of people don't think of it like that. You know, they just don't think like, oh damn, I'm in this race and I'm trying to cover this. You know, he's just thinking about who they gonna fuck today, who what they gonna drink today. You know, just thinking about just basic stuff. You know, it's like, you know, you got two thoughts. You got your name, like people, your name, like, my name is Abdul. In case you didn't know what my name was. It's like Abdul, yeah, he wants to be your friend, and he'll take a drink, high five, but my last name, Luwani, that's my family. That's my legacy. That's my you know family tree, my offspring. I mean, that should be your concern, is your last name, your legacy, your family tree. Like what you gonna leave? What if is your kids straight? What do you have for your grandchildren? All of that type of stuff. That's your it's last name types of thinking versus your first name type of thinking. And that's what a lot of people don't think about, and especially even old, but I'm saying I've been to casinos and stuff. I go to every now and again. I go to casino. You see these old people there, and they're there every day. They're like, basically that's part of their lifetime of on earth, is just going to casino every day, seeing what they can win. They're losing their entire wealth in whatever they work for. And of course, these people probably won't have hardly anything to get their grandchildren, and that's just how it works. Just the cycle continues. It's like, yeah, that's just not it. It's not it. You gotta find some way to break out of that it's kind of like this it goes into like the spirit world, I think. It's kind of demonic spirits, like greed and stuff like that. So you got to be careful of that. So some people, they say the stock market is like gambling. I mean, it's a correlation. I get it. It's a risk. Just this, the risk you go to the casino. I mean, the slot machines. That's you playing a computer. That the risk involved in there. I don't know. But you gotta understand, when you go to the casino, why do you think an actual casino, they have so many square feet of space in the casino? Why do you think they fill the whole casino with slot machines, right? Because that's what makes them the most money. Versus, okay, they got tables. They got a few tables, or they got quite a few, but not that many as slot machines, because the slot machines make them the most money. And that's where the most suckers are, at the slot machines. Okay. The card tables and roulette table, it's risky. It's involved in that, but the slot machines for sure is the most risky and the most like odds as far as trying to make some money. If like, for example, if you know how to play blackjack, you could be almost even as far as with the house, as far as you making money. All right. If you know how to count cards, of course. Yeah. If you know how to MIT method or whatever of counting cards, yes, they'll, you could beat the casino and all that shit. I mean, eventually, if you do it too much and they know you just some smart ass motherfucker that's probably counting cards, it's just gonna ban you from one casino. And once you get banned from one casino, you get banned from them all, because you get on a list. But I mean, most people are not card counters, you know what I'm saying? And most people don't win money like that to where they notice anything, you know. But you know, if you do win a lot of money and you keep, it's a way they do it. I don't really know. I mean, I think it was a movie I think they did about that or something, or some documentary. But it's like you can't go to the same casino, I guess, or something like that. Because it's like one of those things. It's not illegal, but casinos they don't they don't want you to have an advantage like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you know, like one of my classmates, you know, she posted a long time ago. I never forget this. I'll tell my grandkids this. Casino stands for cash always stays in, never out. So if you up in the motherfucking casino, like I ain't gonna lie, it's people that do go to the casino and they know how to tip the you know that you know cash always stays in never out into their favor to where now they able to get cash out that motherfucker. You know, it is some people. I would say how many people, percentage of people that know how to do that or do that on a regular basis, I don't know. I would say probably less than probably 10% for sure of people that they make an actual profit every year from the casino. Obviously, poker players, you know, but poker, you're playing other players. You're not necessarily playing. The casino is not really involved in that. So you're actually playing other poker players. But I mean, yeah, it's probably some people that, you know, they know how to basically make profits from the casino. You know, they know how to make money. Like they the casino is something they do and they make 50 to $100,000 a year. They make more from the casino than they do at their job, or they make a little bit less than they make from their job, whatever. But most people they lose almost they're basically losers. And I would say 90% of individuals that go to casino, whether it be a occasional basis to everyday casino goers, lose their money, you know, on a regular basis, and don't make any money from the casino. They lose it. So you know that's just how it goes. I mean that you know, if you really think about it, it's just like a lot of things, man. You know, I could be here for days talking about the casino. You know, they don't have windows. Like, you know, why you think they don't have windows where you can see the outside? Like, you know, because they want you to be up in there not knowing that there's any time. Like the time is you ain't been in there 7 hours, and now you went in there when it was daytime. Now it's like almost, you know, past, you know, bedtime, basically, or going into the wee hours of the morning. You know, you've been up in there trying to wrestle, you know, trying to make some money up in there. And it's like, yeah, they don't want you, you know, being aware of you know, there's an actual sun, you know, and a moon and all that type of stuff, and it's daylight and it's no more daylight. You up in here, like they don't. It's like some psychology to it. It's really significant. And another thing, and I'll just, you know, kind of, you know, close out. But another thing about a casino, a lot of people don't know, the casinos are considered entertainment, but casinos make more than all entertainment combined. That means, I mean, I'm talking about all combined. So you talk about sports, that's entertainment. Movies, the movie industry, or you know, TVs and movies, and also you know, concerts, like, you know, people singing, rapping, the music industry. They make more money than all of those different entities or arenas or areas as far as entertainment combined. Just the casino, so it's just in case you didn't know that. But anyway, I've said quite a bit, and I know I was all over the place, but the message should be clear. Hold your investments for as long as you can. And just to also, in closing, now Warren Buffett, he actually did have those trillions. He had that stake. He had about a 10% stake in Apple, but he sold it. I think he sold his I think in August or over the spring, he sold his shares of Apple.
Message.